get a cheap high, and then it begun. You never want what you got, that's the name of the game. Chasing dollars and pennies and everything still stays the same. Baby, let me in, go easy on me, babe. I was still a child, didn't get the chance to feel the world around me. I had no time to choose what I chose to do, so go easy on me.
Unbelievable. Look at that elegance. Look at that style. Look at that compound.
Thanks. Thank you.
First of all, beautiful home. Where are you coming to us from, Daniela?
I live in Tribeca in New York
Okay.
City, downtown. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love Tribeca. Absolutely. So, Daniela, we were thinking, I mean, when we first got turned on to you, I remember when Rare Child came out, must have been over 10 years ago. And I remember it. I remember when I first heard it because I was still in Miami radio, and I just remember being absolutely blown away by it. And it ended up being like on my iPod, on my iTunes. So it followed me around like forever, basically.
Yeah.
It's like still stuck like on all my like playlists, basically.
Wow.
So, you've always been on my radar, and it is an absolute treat to have you on the show, Daniela.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you have such a fascinating life story, and your journey is just so special, and we'll get to it. But when that album came out, Daniela, Rare Child,
Yeah.
and it was such a critical and massive success, iTunes top 10 and all that stuff. What was that time like for you? Was that a little bit crazy? Like, what do you remember from that like whirlwind period?
I mean, I think Rare Child was probably the first time that I took the reins and took control. And luckily, the gentleman, Joe Blaney, that co-produced that album with me, who has worked on like The Clash, like crazy, great, iconic albums, he, I just was there and I learned a lot. But, it was the first time that I had stepped away from Hip Shake, which is how I was launched, Small White Town. And I think what will always be and still remains an issue, even with this new album, but it has never stopped me because it isn't, how I define success isn't always like a Grammy or this or that. I think for a Black, especially biracial woman who isn't doing R&B or soul and it's like sort of rock, or that rock is really a part of me because, like I've said in tons of interviews, that, looking like me in a class full of white kids who I thought I was too, till my mother told me I was Black, and I was devastated that music really sounded the way I felt, but it really has become a way of my life. So Rare Child sort of was, I started off, I was like, I'm rock, this is what I am. And then Rare Child allowed me to kind of let the soulful part of Danielia. Then I was sort of like, don't be afraid of what you are, like the church part of me, the Baptist part. And it kind of came back, and I started to let it in, where with this album, I have really let it in a way that I probably have not ever since I started. But I have worked so hard to just be legitimately considered a rock artist that I almost shied away from that part of myself. But when there's something true to who you are, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. And so I think I'm just getting to that point in life where I'm not afraid of where I am in my life, and I'm just sort of like letting it all hang out. And, I go with what I feel and the sound, whether it's soul or rock or this or that. So I don't know. And I think, quite honestly, that's the longest winded answer, is that musicians and artists are becoming more eclectic. And I really believe this will be the way of the future. And that people like me who struggled out the gate to be just, hey, I'm not one genre. This will become a thing and people will cross over and it won't be anything anymore. So I think I was at the beginning of that. So if in any way I help open that door for anyone coming behind me, so be it, I hope.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think you hit the nail on the head, and there's a lot to unwrap there. You said a lot of interesting stuff, but
Sorry.
no, I love it. I love it. And by the way, I forgot to mention, of course, your new album, Good Day. It's going to come out January 2022. The first single, Super Cool, is out now wherever you stream your music.
It's gonna be a good day, yeah. If I lead when you follow, you gotta believe in tomorrow. It's gonna be a good day, yeah. When you can see the sun is shining.
But Daniela, yeah, a couple of weeks ago we were in Cleveland at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. We were covering it, and like you said, LL Cool J got inducted, JC got inducted, and this week when we were doing research, for this, we were thinking, man, Daniela really was ahead of her time. Like, in a way, the rock and roll that you grew up with in Jersey, that spirit of rock and roll is now like in hip hop and everything else, right?
Yep. And I mean, even on this album, I have a rapper, Mickey Fats, because I'm doing another project, a musical, and which I don't even know how that happened. But anyway, so he became a part of a few of the songs. So on two of the songs, we actually have a rapper, which is if you had told me that out the gate, I'd have been like, no. So it's so awesome that it happened. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So Daniela, for my audience that may not know, you grew up in New Jersey in
Yeah.
a town where was predominantly white. I mean, Lord says you were one of 7 African American kids in your high school.
Yeah.
So what were like some of the records, Daniela, that like first set your soul on fire when you were in high school?
I mean, I, I mean, I love AC/DC and
Hmm.
things like that. But when I was younger, it was like my sister was wearing like Judas Priest pictures, and
Nice.
brother was over there. Literally, his shit was like from Todd Rundgren to like Cold as Ice to Warner to like Zeppelin. Like my brother has to this day the most eclectic, amazing taste. Like he turned me on to everybody first, everybody of all genres. Like he'll introduce you to Sheryl Crow and Spoon. I mean, like he's so he had that going on over there. And I mean, the Stones, I have to say, I know it's crazy that Ruby Tuesday, I was like the first time I heard it like I had to stop. Where she goes, and then but
Right.
I think songs that were more like Back in Black and songs like that were just more like the heavier rock, some of the Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I love Southern rock. I mean, Black Crowes. She talks to angels. It was amazing to do Wakarusa and be sandwiched between Robert Randolph, and the Black Crowes, and then they say that was Danielia Cott. I was like, what? So it's been. I mean, or even at the Nokia to open up for Leonard Skinner when at my senior prom you're
That's
dancing.
wild.
I mean, like you're like, what? So
Yeah.
I was really lucky. Like when I think of the Hall of Fame, when I walked through, I told my booking agency, you put me out with all these old people. And at the end, I was out with Greg Allman, Robert Cray, Buddy Guy,
Hmm.
even it was like Amy Mann and oh my God, Ella. I mean, I can't even believe I can't. Oh my God, she's so big.
Sure. All the giants.
Beyonce played her in the
Hmm.
freaking Etta James. I was
Etta
like,
James. Right. Right.
how did I forget Etta James? That's called 50. That's what it's called. It's like short-term memory. But like, I walked through the hall and I literally got choked up because I was like, oh my God, I've been out with all this little feet. Like it was crazy. And I have to say to this day, they are the best performers. Like watching Chris Stapleton on the CMAs the other day, I was
Yeah.
like, that's some old school artistry, which
Right. Yeah.
if I was to give advice to young artists now, it's that type of artistry, that type of a performance, somebody that comes out and nails it on all levels on a live performance like that, that's incredible. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. That's just, it took my breath away. I mean, outside that and seeing three, women of color, sing about their hair, I was like, my tears. I mean, I have a 3-year-old biracial Jewish little girl. They're the world, changing right in front of my eyes. So, what a time in the world it is right now. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true, Dan. And you've had a career for a long time, and you just talked on it, and all these giants, Alabama, Leonard Skinner. What is the secret, Daniela? What is the secret to a long career? Longevity. Because I feel like you're getting better as the years go by. Listening to your discography, I mean, listening to Small White Town up to now, that was great. But now you're rocking it, and you're just getting better. What is the secret? Like you're just kicking ass.
I take right now, I went back like this last year, I asked my other half um, for, Christmas slash Hanukkah. In our house, we do both. I take piano and I take guitar. And now I'm starting bass. So if you don't have that much vocabulary, it's like for what you do. If you write or if it's all about being verbal. If you're not feeding your mind and you're not reading or you don't have that much vocabulary, at some point you're going to hit a wall and it's going to limit what you can do. So to me, I think it was Eric Clapton that said, you should always be learning. You should always be learning. And there's just like 90 million things I don't know. So the more theory that I know, the more that it changes how I write a song. Like I told my piano teacher today, you gave me my left hand. Like I do things on the piano I just would have never done versus, playing the root of a chord and the root, third, and the fifth in this hand. Now I just do I do completely different things. I'm using susses and diminished and just a lot of things that places I would have never gone because I just wasn't constantly keeping up on my musical studies. So that helps. And then I go back. I mean, I love modern music today, but I gotta tell you, some of that older stuff it doesn't compare. It's like going back to old Stevie Wonder versus modern day soul. It's a little bit I feel like they still haven't caught up in the sense of that. That's why I say watching, Chris Stapleton, that's the idea. That's sort of the bar that you want to set for yourself. And longevity means you have to raise that bar for yourself. It can't be, what the world tells you. And, we're in an age now where it's all social media. It's this, it's that, it's about a physical, you can alter things. You have to decide sort of what art means to you, sort of the backbone of what you do and sort of the integrity, huge word. And then how you want to be. Do you want to go down having sold 1 billion albums but made a song that will not last? Or do you want to be like that guy that might not have gotten any appreciation in his life and he dies and his shit lives 4 decades after him?
Right.
It's the kind of music you want to make. What do you want to do? Do you want it to lift people? It's all these important things that I've learned along the way that you have to ask yourself. And that, to me, if you answer those questions and you stay true to that, you will make great music, inevitably.
Isn't that the truth? I mean, you're just speaking our language. I can already tell I could talk to you for 17 hours. Oh my God. Your passion, you're a music historian, your talent, and you're a life coach as well. Let's get on it. It's unbelievable. But yeah, it's so true what you're saying. Like 3 weeks ago, we actually had the chance to listen to Adele's new album, the whole thing, the preview.
Okay.
And it was that's when you say that's right, the levels, the standards, people really pushing it, absolutely. And
Yeah.
and Daniela, listening to you just sing songs a little bit here and there today, when you sing these songs, you're just hitting some incredible notes. And in the new single as well, are there notes? And don't be modest. Is there a song you can't sing? Because I feel like every song is within your range. You could hit every note. Am I wrong there?
Now this is going to blow your mind. So I have a coach, Shirley Tennyson. They did some sort of documentary that they included her in. A lot of Broadway goes to her. She always says, "I'm not going to tell who my people are," but I know Audrey, everybody goes to her. I've been with her 15 years, and when I got thyroid cancer and they took out my thyroid, I was afraid, but I gained an octave. She just keeps upping my game. She keeps upping my game because she keeps, it's just like music. It's like she's giving me vocab. She's teaching me how to get it out in a way where I'm doing it safely. And I don't know how. We even joke. We were saying that if we could put on Small White Town, that like all the albums now I hit higher notes. But that's also, I don't drink or smoke though. But I mean, once I got cancer, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I just went really healthy. But vocal health is huge. Like I can't even believe my guilty pleasure, The Voice, because I love Kelly Clarkson. I just think like I want to know her. That's like somebody I want to interview.
Right.
But I'm kind of falling for Ariana Grande a little bit. Like I kind of feel like I like her a little bit. And she's all about, I love that she's like vocal health. What young singers talk about that? And there's so many singers. Adele, like my vocal doctor has a plaque on her wall because she was one of the doctors that helped repair her. There's a million, even the best of singers that are just pushing it in a way that it's not good. And then they go down and they have to get these operations. This is what I went to her the minute first tour, Small White Town. I got one scab, never got a polyp after that. If you do it right, you'll have longevity and you'll be able to hit notes. You'll be like Tony Bennett hitting the same notes when you're like in your 80s. But that's also, it's your artistry. It's the integrity and the artistry of what you do. It's how we teach things. You have power, like doing what you do. These pods, these social media things, you can either teach people that it's all a mirage, or you teach people that it's hard work, it's discipline, it's all these things that add up and they make you great. And if you want that, then you might have a chance and a shot on a good day of being a Stevie Wonder, of being a Prince, of being a Bowie. And Bowie said, when you're uncomfortable and everything feels like, and you're scared and your feet aren't on the ground, that's when you've made it. That's when you're made genius. That's it. So it's not even being safe, it's going out of the zone. It's so deep, dude. It's so
No, I love it. Absolutely. That's where growth happens, outside the comfort zone, 100%.
Exactly.
Look at you. Unbelievable. You really are like inspiring us. And like, you briefly touched on your cancer there for a minute. So just to tell my audience, you are a cancer survivor, right? And that's part of your incredible journey. Do you mind just like
My partner actually has mantle cell right now, so we are
sorry to hear that.
a double hit house. So I'm doing my 6th marathon this year, and I'm running lymphoma. But yeah, it's every other person. Another friend told me that their friend has esophageal cancer. It's God, we are just in the age of like it's not COVID or it's cancer or it's like it's like wow, yeah.
Yeah. So Daniela, let me ask you, what is the one thing, like if you had to boil it down, that like you really change as a human, as an artist, like inside of your soul, pre-cancer and post-cancer, like something that just really shifts forever in the way you look at your life?
Wow. I think cancer and then sobriety for me, which was late in life after I lost twins and it just like shook my world. I think life, like the value of life, how you go through this life, like my main goal is peace of soul. And that's sort of like how I put my head on the pillow, which is a lot on many levels that can be spiritual, just being the best person that I can be and having made peace with the rights and the wrongs of my life. And then sort of, if this is something that I do, the music that I do, it's always come very easy to me. And now I'm studying because, my other half said, God, you're so good and you don't practice. Like, don't you want to be great? You know what great is? It's people who are good who practice. And I was like,
Right.
I had to live with that guy. And he was like, that's a waste. So I think that, and then living with him and he's fighting, it's just every day matters. That I look at my little 3-year-old and I don't know what to teach her in a day's time. Like I could walk out that door and walk off, the corner and get hit, but at least I want her to walk out and be a good person, be the best as she can be, believe that she can do anything she wants to do, that there are no limits, that those limits that we put on ourselves or other people, you can do whatever you want to do. Don't allow somebody to set any type of limitation for yourself. And that's, I don't know. And I guess when your life gets shook up and you think that it's all going to get taken away from you, you think about what you did and like sort of the legacy that you leave. I think everybody should have a party where people like do like a obit where you sit like Larry David. I thought
Like
that was
Larry David just did. Yeah, yeah, you saw that. That's funny.
because you never know, like, but you know, you take yourself out of the equation, you realize how many lives you've affected for good or for bad. And that you kind of have to think about that. And so I don't know. That's, you know, I just think about the moves I make, the effect it has on the 3-year-old that I have, and also how when I put my head down, I'm gonna, you know, it's just me and me when I go to sleep. All of us, it's all of us. So it's, I don't know, and it's what kind of imprint you want to make. Not everybody wants to make an imprint. I personally do. I do
Yeah.
for my kid, and that's it. That's a heavy responsibility, and with that comes a lot. You just have to
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said. Oh my God, so much great stuff. Unbelievable. What a great guest. Okay, and I promise you we're gonna get to good day. Just give me 1 second, but I wanna talk. I also ask to you about, like social causes, and the reason why I say that is because to tell my audience, you've always been influenced by people like Maya Angelou, and just hearing you speak, they're not gonna be surprised that you're like a leader in change, right? So I guess when I was doing research, I said, okay, I have to ask you about everything that happened last year with the protests and Black Lives Matter and all that. And the reason why I wanted to ask you is because, as an African American woman, mixed race, like do you think that there's been like progression from all that breakthrough that we had as a country last year, or do you think it was like like a election year and it stagnated? Like, where do you think we are with all that?
No, I think there was an interview that might have gotten lost where Obama said he might have gotten nominated too early. And, you know, what happened was racism that we thought was sort of like under the surface, that was always there. It really came, like they came out like, oh shit, there's a black man in office. Oh, this is, whoa. So when Trump got in there was white people like, we can't let this shit happen. We can't let a Negro get up in here. It's like they got scared. And I think it opened the bubble. Like within my family, we are all very, I have a sister with kids in the LGBTQ community. And I'm Latino, I am Black, and I am Jewish. I mean, there's a lot, and I have a little girl too, and my responsibility to her. But I think that, Obama, you thought that was a good thing. I remember when people are like, well, hey, the world's good. There's a black man. There's racism's over. I was like, no, this is gonna stir the pot. And a lot of people don't think of it that way. He said I was just a little hair too early, which is a very astute observation on his part. And it has sparked this thing where all these KKK, like people that we thought that were hiding, now they're out like, oh, we got to take it back because they about to take it from us. Look, they even got one of their selves up there at the president, so they're trying not to let that ever happen again because they didn't really think it was ever possible. And when it happened, they were like, oh shit. So I think, they came out and groups like that hate the LGBT community. They hate anybody that isn't white, straight, and down the middle. So, which the world is no longer that anymore. We're all sort of byproducts of multiple races and things.
Right.
So there really isn't a pure race. But so these people are going to fight like there is no tomorrow. So it's also our responsibility to fight as well. And we can fight in a different way that isn't angry. And that's by just, sort of continuing to put ourselves in the forefront, continuing to fight for the rights of those, to continuing on a daily basis. You don't even have to be in an organization. Just treat each and every human being that you know equally. That's
Yeah.
a simple thing you can do every freaking day of your life. Just wake up and treat each person the same. Boom. That right there solves a lot of shit. Then we don't have to do anything, but that will never happen. But if each person just did that every day, that's huge. So I think we just have to be aware and be honest with ourselves and not lie. Some people are like, it's not that bad. No, it is. We are where we are. What's happening is what's happening. The best thing we can do is be honest. And then from there, figure out what each and every one of us can do. Like I said, you don't want to be in an organization, just treat people equally. Boom, simple thing. That's all you got to do. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very well said, Daniela. You're being so generous with your time. Let's pivot to the new album. Thank you. So Good Day is coming out. First of all, like you're obviously you're ready for it. Like it's ready. Maybe you'll mix it one more time, but the album's ready. Is it weird, like when that the thing is ready for the world and it's like sitting there 2 months before, Daniela?
Well, I mean, for artists like me, I'm not, I've managed to keep my foot in the game, but, it's like you're coming out at a year when COVID, when everybody went down. So you got Adele dropping the album, you got Brandy, you got all these big, iconic, like type figures. So people like me who are trying to break through, it's a deep thing. And I said to myself, do I change the content of it so I can break through, or do I just be myself? And the best way is to just be yourself. If you're true to
Right.
yourself, that will speak the most, that'll speak volumes. But I don't know, working with this album, I mean, the drummer's now with Bob Dylan, my guitar player's out, MDing for Kiefer Sutherland. I mean, the plethora of greatness that I got to work with. And then as we're mixing Good Day, Dave is winning the Grammy.
Right.
COVID. So we're sitting in there and he was like, this is a good omen. You're next, so
Love
this
it.
was just like a Grammy winning team. I don't know what will happen. And it's a happy album, but then there's some deepness. There's some like Good Day, super cool. And then there's
Of course
some
there is. It's you that we're
rock.
talking about.
Yeah.
Of course it's you.
So
You
there's
don't do shallow.
so there's some nuggets up in there. So we'll see. I'm just hoping I tossed a coin like Jimmy Fontaine, who did the photos. Like, oh my God, he made me feel pretty. He just was amazing. He was so good. It's just a great group. Great group.
Oh my God, Daniela, we are super excited. I hope you tour it. Are you gonna come on tour and like tour it a little bit?
I hope, COVID opens things up.
Yeah.
Artists have gone out and not had sort of the attendance that they thought. I think we still need like a minute.
Right.
But I hope so. But, we're all getting to do things like this. Like what you do, back at you, keep doing this. Like this is what's kept us all. Like I know people who are like, I never used to do podcasts. Now I have 5 on my phone, So I was just like, this is good. This is good. This is what we can do.
Yeah, and like the world needs your music, the world needs your message. They really do. Not only because you're amazing talent, but like all the messages that you have to share, the world needs them right now, Daniela. So please just keep that in mind. Like the world needs what you have inside of you in spades. So please, we need it.
Well,
Okay.
there's a musical coming. It's coming. It's
I
coming.
love it. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. But
I,
for now, you've
thank
said it
you.
all, Daniela. What a great time. What a great guest. What a great soul. We
Thank
can feel your
you.
energy from here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.